Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about West Palm and the Stuart lifestyle, traffic, airports, dining. These are all the things I'm going to go over for you if you're considering moving here to the Southeast area. Hopefully this video will give you kind of a perspective on what a lot of people don't know about Stuart and these areas to the north, but you might still be interested in West Palm. So let's get into it. So first thing, we get people calling us about usually pricing, and they want a bedroom, bathroom, square footage, and so forth. So when it comes down to this is the rule of thumb, and I've mentioned this in other videos before. As you go from north to south, the price per square foot goes up, okay? So when we compare these two different counties, so Stuart is in Martin County, and West Palm Beach is in the county of Palm Beach. Overall, the cost of living is going to be higher down in West Palm. Now, most of that revolves around housing. So the price per square foot, depending on where you are, because Palm Beach County is a really big county, right? And there's even small pockets that are even closer to the coast, which are lower cost than western parts of Palm Beach County. It's a really big county. As a whole, you're going to be looking at higher prices down in Palm Beach County than you are in Stuart. Palm Beach County is much more, in general, urban. All right, so when you get closer to the coast over there in Palm Beach County, it gets a lot more condensed and a lot more urban, all right? When you get further west into Palm Beach County, it gets more rural. There are some cities, Weston and Wellington and some of these areas and then even some of the master plan communities are very dense, even out to the west. But as a whole, it's just more of a rural feel in general in all of Martin County. Now, is there downtown Stuart? Certainly, the prices are going to be much higher than certain areas in the rural areas of Palm Beach. But as a whole, the price per square foot is going to be higher down in Palm Beach. You are going to pay a little bit more for gas. Things are just a little bit more expensive down there in Palm Beach County. Number two, or the pros and cons, are going to be community and lifestyle, all right? So as a whole, Martin County is just going to have a more of a subdued feel to it. Now, is it dead? Is it, only old people? No, there's plenty of families up here. Other things like the arts, for instance, like we have the Lyric Theater in downtown Stuart, but it pales in comparison to the Kravis Center down in Palm Beach. And I think it's like 15,000 people you can put into the Kravis Center, whereas the Lyric Theater, I think, is like 600. That gives you an idea of just everything is a little bit bigger down there. Now, when it comes to shopping, okay, so we get a lot of people ask us, like, how's the shopping? How's the dining? And, there's boutiques and little places where you can buy trinkets, nice clothing, some designer brands, sunglass shop. And then you also do have like Walmart and Walgreens and Petco and Pet Supermarket. I would say those are the essentials. And then we do have good dining up here. You got District Table and you got the Gafford and Kyle G's and some of these other restaurants that I've done in other videos. We got plenty of opportunities and options for you when it comes to food in Martin County. Well, you're just going to have more options when you go down into Palm Beach County. Not only, for even little things like I'm a golfer, right? You got simulators around here, but there's a couple of places down in West Palm where I'm like, wow, you can go there and get your whole game dialed in. It's just a higher level of whatever it is that you're looking for. I always want to mention this too. It's literally a drive away. So, if we come back to number one and your affordability, like I need a 3-bedroom house and I have this amount of money. And we can show you what that would buy you down in West Palm. My point is that you're going to pay a little bit more to be down in Palm Beach County for that ease of the Dolce Gabbana. There are people that live even just in the southern portions of Martin County that drive and commute down into West Palm Beach so that they get that low cost of living, but they can get that higher paying job or maybe a specific kind of job that we don't kind of have here in Stuart. I wouldn't really say that one is better than the other, because it just depends on the kind of person that you are. And hey, you can always reach out to us. We'll let you know about what some of these certain areas look like and what your options are out there. Give us a call, drop a comment below. We love to talk to people about real estate, but let's move on. Now, this is a big question that we get. Like, hey, how are the beaches there and what's the access and that kind of thing? Now, the cool thing about both of the counties is they have beautiful beaches. I don't care where you go in Florida. I like the beaches a little bit more on the East Coast because there's tend to be more sand. The West Coast tends to be a little darker sand and shell beaches and a little rocky. Now, access to beaches, this is one thing I really want to hone in on here because we get a lot of calls about this. There's no private beaches in Florida. Let's stipulate that. It's not that you can buy a house on the beach and then no one can walk on your private beach. There can be private access to the beaches, and that's where this is kind of helps you understand what I'm talking about here a little bit more. In Martin County, you're never going to need a place to park to go to the beach, meaning any of the beaches you go to for the most part, but because they're so off the beaten path, you're never going to see 15 cars in that parking lot, right? And that's all of Martin County and even up into St. Lucie and Indian River counties. And you can actually walk down south from Bridge Road, the beach there, and walk all the way down, and you will hardly see anybody on that beach. You might feel like it is your giant private beach, and there's all mansions along that beach there because, again, they have private access. So as you move your way further down into Palm Beach County, it gets, again, up to that coast, it gets more urban. It gets more condensed. So when you go to the beach, it's going to be paid parking, and sometimes you're going to have a hard time finding a spot. Furthermore, there's a lot of people there. It doesn't feel like kind of that private beach that I kind of mentioned. If you're a real beach aficionado, and especially if you have a lower price point, you can always live up here and go down to some of those beaches in Palm Beach. Martin County has, as does Palm Beach County, has great mountain biking depending on where you want to go. It's going to have to be further west in Palm Beach County. Here in Martin County, I mean, you can get off the beaten path right around here. Fishing, fantastic. Stuart is the sailfish capital of the world, so you can catch mahi, and inshore fishing is great for redfin and snook and that kind of stuff, sea trout. But the access to the ocean, I would say, I'm going to give a little bit more plus to Stuart because there's a few more marinas up here, and the access out the inlet, I think, is a little closer to some of those marinas, and the cost is not going to be as high. Palm Beach County has a very high median income. You're just going to have a little bit higher cost for those marinas, millionaires that got their yachts behind. So, outdoor activities, I'm probably going to give it a little bit more in the Stuart as far as even fishing. Now, there's a lot of golf down in Palm Beach County, so you saw my eyes light up there. But there's good golf around here. You got plenty of options. Plus, people who golf, they're willing to drive 30, 45 minutes to try out a new golf course. So I'm going to give the edge a little bit to Martin County when it comes to outdoor activities and access to the beach. I'm going to give a little bit of more of a pro towards Stuart. But that being said, there's plenty of nice beaches down in Palm Beach, and there's plenty of stuff you can do outside. So I'm going to click into this one real quick. This is job opportunities and employment. As a whole, you're just going to have more opportunities down in Palm Beach, and it's going to be more specialized. A lot of the finance industry from New York, Chicago, even areas of Texas and California, people are moving down. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Boca Raton is one of the fastest growing counties or cities in the United States. You got a lot of people with a lot of money moving down to Florida for the tax implications and so forth. You're going to just have more options for employment down in West Palm. So I'm going to give West Palm a little bit more of an edge on this. Now, you can live in Stuart and still drive down there. I've mentioned this before. We've got multiple exits from 95 and the Turnpike. So depending on what your budget is for a home, what your job is, you might want to do that drive to get more home up in Stuart, Martin County. So that's just a personal thing. But I'm going to give it a little bit of an edge to Palm Beach County for job opportunities. So let's move on. All right, so transportation and traffic. Let's talk about transportation specifically. When we talk about public transportation, you're going to have much more public transportation down in Palm Beach County, for sure. Now, we do have a little bit of public transportation up here. There's the Marty bus. Downtown Stuart, there's a trolley that takes people around. But it's just not as robust as what you're going to see down there in Palm Beach County. Now, furthermore, you also have multiple stops in Palm Beach. So those are going to be able to get you down into Broward County, where Fort Lauderdale is, and even down into Miami. Just that's it from a public transportation side. Now, as far as traffic, you're going to get more traffic, especially over on 95 and the Turnpike, which are on the eastern side of Palm Beach County. You're going to get more traffic down there. There's just no doubt about it. Stuart, during the summer especially, hardly any traffic. People here feel like there's traffic when the snowbirds come into town and we double the population. You definitely feel it on the roads, but if you know what real traffic is, especially if you're coming from New York or Chicago or LA or something like that, you're like, this is not traffic at all. But as a whole, I'm probably going to say Stuart's a little bit more attractive if you are adverse to traffic. Now, lastly, as far as airports are concerned, there is an international airport here in Stuart, but it's more for private jets and that. There's some some small commercial stuff which bounces over to the Bahamas, but it's more of an executive airport. So if you needed to be, say, 15, 30 minutes from an international airport, you're going to probably want to be down in Palm Beach, because Palm Beach International, which is, by the way, my favorite airport in the world because it's just awesome. If you're up in Stuart, you're going to be about 45 minutes, depending on traffic. If you hit some traffic, it might be an hour to get down to Palm Beach International. So if you're only traveling, once a month or every couple of months, probably not a big deal. But if you're traveling maybe weekly or even a couple times a month, it might sway you to be down in Palm Beach County when it comes to the airport. So education and kind of family friendliness. Palm Beach there's a lot of schools in Palm Beach County. There's a couple of private schools, the Benjamin School and so forth are really, really good schools down there in Palm Beach County. Martin County is known to have great schools. As far as family friendliness, I'm going to probably err a little bit more on the Stuart side. So when it comes to schools, probably pretty similar depending on the area that you're in. And that's going to be dependent on your price point, right? What's your pocketbook? That's going to be dependent on that. So if you have a lower budget and you need that house with all the amenities that you want and you want a good school, you might want to look at Stuart, right? So I'm going to kind of say they're kind of the same, but it depends on where exactly in Palm Beach. But when it comes to family friendliness, I'm going to err a little bit onto the side of Stuart. And I'm not biased at all here. It's the truth. It's just more subdued. Not that Palm Beach is like so aggressive that some inner city thing or something like that. It's not like that. It's just a little bit more high strung with the traffic, the congestion, people get a little more irritable. So it's just more of a laid back thing. And I just think there's a more family friendly atmosphere here in Stuart and in Martin County. I hope that this video sheds some light on the pros and cons, or even if you're thinking about moving to either area, I think the best bet is to actually reach out to somebody, which is us. We'd love to have a conversation with you about what your wants and needs are, what your priorities are, and then we can overlay that with the respective areas in Palm Beach or Martin County. So I hope this video is helpful. Hey, if you like the content, drop a comment below, or please subscribe to the channel. We always like coming out with new content every week. We got a newsletter that comes out that covers a lot of different topics. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.